Hello, Biohacker Nation. We're back once again. This is Dr. Mike with the Mad Scientist.
What's up, Biohacker Nation? It's Jim. What's going on?
Hi, Jim. Thank you for that. Very good vibrato on that voice today.
It's a good day.
Good day to talk about wonderful topics, such as we'll touch into Lyme's disease, a little bit with getting dizzy for depression. But first, you got a few things to say?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
We're not here to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. Go see competent physicians, such as the wonderful physicians at Functional Integrative Therapeutics.
They're the ones in Colts Neck, New Jersey, right?
They certainly are. Get on your private jets, get an airline ticket right now, and treat yourself to first class. Fly on over towards Colts Neck, New Jersey. Come see those guys and girl. They are phenomenal over there in everything they do. They functionize your brain. They functionize your body. They just make you a better person from head to toe. It's your job just to show up. Just go. You check out their website at www.functionized.com. That's www.functionised.com. They've also got some pretty sweet kick-ass social media sites, so check that out. Like, direct message them. Couldn't say enough great things about them.
Well, let's talk about a few great things with us. For example, if you have anything great to say, we always appreciate those honest 5-star reviews.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Be 5 stars.
Oh, no, I just interjected. Go ahead, continue.
You interrupt my flow. There's something else they do at Functionize is help get into flow much quicker and easier, and be able to recognize when you're out of flow and how to be in flow. That's also known as the zone, if you would.
So do they have ways to measure flow?
What type of flow?
I guess it's their job to find out.
That's exactly it. And yeah, Beauty Brains Brawn, Chantea herself, does have ways to measure flow and help individuals understand it and get into flow and be able to fully functionize their days and experiences to the best of their ability. But we've got some awesome topics today. People think Lyme's disease is caused by the bite of a innocent little
deer tick, right?
Deer tick.
Everyone in the Northeast, we're always warned about it. Stay out of the woods. I mean, I like the woods.
I love the woods. There's some different theories out there on Lyme's disease, and the idea that a deer tick is the sole cause may not necessarily be the full 100% truth.
So you're challenging what everyone's been talking about in the medical literature for, I don't know, a good 50 to 100 years about this?
Yup.
Awesome. This is going to be a fun day.
So, back in the day, we're going to go back into the 1970s. There was Lymes, Connecticut, is an actual town, believe it or not. And in this little town of Lymes, Connecticut, there was some children starting to come down with symptoms of chronic fatigue, headaches, joint pain, so forth. And they had to figure out what the heck, what's going on here. And it almost came towards a coincidental finding that they believed that this one tick, the deer tick, which is known to carry the bacteria Borrelia burgdorferi.
That was much better than I could have done that. Glad you were the first one to say it.
Back in school, I used to call it Borrelli. I could recognize that it was backwards. I knew that. I'm not dyslexic, but...
Thanks for that little dig. I can read it and I still don't get it right.
If I got how old was my little one then? She was... she was like 5 years old at that time. And she would say Borrelli. But yeah, 5-year-old and me, we were studying for microbiome when we go back and forth to the beach, and she actually got some of those words down. Can she do it today? Yup. Quizzed her the other night. She actually remembered that.
Wow. Impressive.
But doctors, researchers, even the town people were looking for what the heck. And pretty much came down to, like I said, coincidental finding. One of the patients actually reported seeing a tick a few weeks before he felt ill. So therefore, you see a tick, the tick must be it.
Causation equals correlation equals causation, right?
Unfortunately, that's the way it happened.
Well, you got to start a theory somewhere, but the big importance then is to follow through with the theory, not just make a dogma that the entire medical world will just buy into.
Sure.
which appears to be part of the problem.
A few years later, though, medical researchers found that the tick, like I said, was carrying Borrelia burgdorferi, and here we go. Let's get Lyme's disease. Here's the cause. Makes it simple. It's easy to document.
It's easy to test for.
Absolutely. And now I'm starting to challenging the idea that perhaps, there's different theories out there, but just perhaps this may not be the 100% case. We would hope that researchers would continue to try to figure out if this truly did cause Lyme's in individuals, but
it's hard to get research going on something that's already considered very popular belief.
Right, who's going to make a
trying to get
mistake?
someone to pay for a bunch of research and something that there's already a strong, financial backing for. But there's so many cases of Lyme's that are given out every week in a lot of clinics, especially up here. It's going to be hard to say, how about let's just redo everything, quit charging for this, and let's go with a new theory. It's hard for people to jump on board with that.
Absolutely.
So thankfully there is some research coming out for it. But, there just needs to be a lot more to prove this going on.
So, if you visit a Lyme specialist, for instance, and you got any of these symptoms here, even a diagnosis of, say, MS, lupus, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid, chronic fatigue,
headaches, muscle pain, which half of these are very common symptoms with a lot of people to begin with.
It's a lot of weaknesses and fatigues. It gets me all the time. I'm fatigued.
Lyme's disease.
It has to be. Couldn't be the fact that you're sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, every single night, you're overstressed, you're not drinking enough water, You're not eating.
Or how a lot of the same signs and symptoms they consider with Lyme's disease is also just from poor diet, like high sugar intake. As we were talking a couple of weeks ago, the last several weeks, about carb cycling, when people have a lot of simple sugars or carbohydrates, you get completely fatigued. You can get muscle and joint pains. Take these common symptoms, it's kind of hard just to exclude everything else and say it's this.
Absolutely. Now, some people have had theories that there's different bugs that could also be the cause of Lyme's, such as Bartonella or the parasite Babesia. Sounds like the pirate Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean, Babisa. That would be a pretty cool new character for Pirates of the Caribbean. So Disney. I'm cool with you naming a new captain, Captain Babisa. Please, 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 the only thing I ask, I'm not asking for any financial reward or gain or anything like that. Have a character somewhere on that ship named Jim. That's all I'm saying. So, the idea that Bartonella and Babesia coming into fruition is the fact that we carry them oftentimes. So, if we're carrying them, then obviously we must have to contract some of these symptoms because of them, just like with the deer tick.
Or how we have a bunch of things in our systems, like E. coli, which we actually have naturally in our gut, but you find other places causes problems. Just because we have it must be the answer to all of our diseases.
Exactly. But with,
sarcasm, everybody. Just to make sure you picked up on that one.
But with these, this parasite and this other bacteria, so far, researchers haven't been able to find that they are even carried by a tick. So, what may actually be the true cause of Lyme's disease? Theory says here, what if it were a virus?
What?
What
Not
if
a bacteria?
What if those full spectrum, hardcore, badass, antibacterial solutions that are put into individuals are just killing all the bacteria in the body, but it's not actually helping with Lyme's? And if that's the case, as it's been found out with so many individuals that unfortunately believed that they were bit, had the antibiotic treatment, and still have these symptoms later on in life, then must not be the bacteria.
Or you just got another, Lyme's disease again from another tick. Honestly, when it comes down to it, it's what a lot of people say, especially when you live up here where, I was from the woods in Pennsylvania, that's, you just got Lyme's disease again. You went camping last week.
Yeah, you should probably clean your house if you're lying in a bed of ticks all night, every night. I'm just saying, throwing that out there. No?
I came from all the dogs. I've been told that one many times too. I've never had Lyme's. Never been diagnosed Lyme's, we'll go it that way.
the idea that this is a virus here, virus causes all these Lyme symptoms. People diagnosed with Epstein-Barr can have Lyme symptoms. People with HHV6 and the strains of this can have Lyme symptoms. Strains of shingles have Lyme symptoms. Even with the non-rashing varieties that have the most severe cases also include symptoms such as encephalitis, that brain inflammation, getting a little big and puffy, and you've only got a skull big enough to hold that whole thing. Doesn't work out so well. You're not a Mr. Potato Head. And that's not your brain coming out as hair. Not a good idea. Was that Mr. Potato Head with a brain? No. It was Play-Doh.
They were seeing like a chia pet or something.
You know the little Play-Doh things where you push down on the pump and the Play-Doh comes out a little...
Yeah, I think those toys were popular in the 50s. When were you a kid?
What? Wow.
No, this whole the idea of a virus kind of makes sense because some people, and you do get better with when they do these massive antibiotics, which let me go on. Antibiotics attack all the good and bad stuff in our body.
Bacteria.
So it doesn't really just target anything.
Right.
Yeah, stuff equals bacteria. That we have a crap ton of those, and they're all.
Thank you. Got thrown in today. Crap ton.
I mean, it gets really good and the bad, but the idea that it might be a virus makes sense. A lot of viruses, including the ones that you just listed, are known to kind of go dormant for a while and then come back. So it might not be that the antibiotics are helping the Lyme's disease and then you're just getting a couple years later. It could just be that it's lying dormant in our systems, and then when your immune system shuts down, it comes back. It's a very strong idea.
Did you or did you not know that blood work for people who have Lyme's disease also can test positive for Epstein-Barr and cytomegalo?
I did, but I'm reading some of the same stuff that you read.
When we take the notes, and we have notes after we do research, burn. All right.
I just ruined your whole excitement on that spiel. But go right ahead anyway. No, I've never heard of this, Jim.
Really?
No, this is news. Fill me in.
Well, now you know.
Oh, was that it?
That was about it.
Oh, it was anticlimactic. I even tried to rebuild that for you.
Once it's down, it's down. Not going anywhere from there. The viruses that I've kind of been talking about before are a crap ton of...
You forced that one.
I did force that one.
Just stop trying.
Before a crap ton of random runoffs, our little tangents here. Every single virus is in the herpes family, causing fever, headaches, joint pain, muscle pain, fatigue, neck pain, burning nerve pain, heart palpitations, pretty much any neurological symptom. And these are all of Lyme's disease.
So those symptoms sound very familiar.
Exactly. So say it is a virus that is in us and is dormant. And the other bacterias and parasites that we're literally carrying around just because, well, we've got billions and billions of bacteria in and on our body. So say we're carrying these all around, but they're not affecting us. So then how are these viruses triggered? That we could actually be carrying around right now. I mean, if you've had the chicken pox, you're carrying around a virus right now in your body.
It doesn't leave you. It actually just stay in there. It's where the whole shingles, comes back later down the road. When your immune system drops due to one of multiple reasons, which I'm guessing is where you're leading into with this, it comes back.
So there's a few different things that brings down our immune system that's actually holding these viruses at bay, such as mold. I mean, mold is a big one. It wears away your immune system, and eventually when the immune system is broken down enough, something can overtake it. Mercury-based dental algamelum.
Well, mercury and heavy metals in general, they're all over the place, unfortunately.
Does Pantera Metallica count? Just
Got
saying.
nothing on that one. And then pesticides or herbicides is another major one, which is also
Huge.
all over the place. I mean, in our diets especially. I mean, not just people out there and spraying them in their own lawns and gardens, but a lot of the produce that we get, even organic food, a lot of them have pesticides and herbicides on them from just being blown down from the farm down the road, or just the section of, this is the organic part of this farm, the non-organics right there. We're still getting a lot of pesticides and herbicides. It's very common.
One way to do your best, I mean, you're not going to get it perfect, but I know washing your produce with grapeseed extract is a way to clean it the best you can.
Promote your clean eating.
Promote your clean eating. That is bad.
Yep, throwback joke from 2 months ago.
And also keeps the harmful chemicals of soap off of your food that you're about to eat the film of. So there's another little tangent. Even huge emotional problems in your life, such as a death, something
this
that's
is a
traumatic.
big one. I mean, a lot of people get sick when they're emotionally distraught. There's reasons for it.
Someone dies, someone breaks up with you, you lose your dog,
at work,
anything like
financial stress.
bites from other bugs, believe it or not. And this is bee stings, bites from animals. All these things stress our immune system to a point that other things that being held at bay can actually overtake it. Even prescription medications, whether you think it's friendly to viruses or not, prescription medications lower our immune system at times. Medications that you're on all the time.
And it takes our body, it's a big tax on our body to break down medications. That's a big part. Yep.
Believe it or not, even recreational drug abuse, people that abuse drugs that, well, they should not be abusing drugs.
I mean, it's a similar point. I mean, so
I'm not going to go on to which are going to be beneficial for individuals and which are not. This is not the time or the place. But if someone's taking, I'll just throw out crystal meth for some reason, something that little wraps your brain away. Yeah. Your immune system is going to be lowered. So, meth hits. Chill it out, or you might get Lymes. Just saying.
They might have bigger worries than that one, but I guess it's something to focus on, whatever worries them.
Physical injuries could be something else. Getting hurt, cutting, scraping, breaks, contusions. All these different physical injuries can stress the immune system in an unhealthy way. Going in bodies of water, pools in the summertime, they're notorious for just being filthy. So
yeah, like chlorine doesn't fix everything.
Exactly. Even the ocean, the different algae blooms, times of the summer, times of the year. Breathing it in, swallowing it is just, well, it's not healthy, so I'm bringing it up here. Any chemicals in your house, carpets, cleaning supplies, paint is a big one, and not sleeping. I mean, all these are difficult on your body, and it stresses the immune system. And, a fun one here, I'm just going to throw out a tick bite.
Might as well talk about that one.
I'm just going to say tick bite. It means like a spider bite, bee sting. It's another stress to your immune system. And it may not necessarily be the fact that Borrelia burgdorferi is actually the bacteria that is infecting the body. It's just that it's a trigger. That your body immune system is being lowered at this point because it's being taxed. Kind of goes up, spikes, goes down, and then back to homeostasis again. And that's how the body works with all of our functions.
Well, what about that little bullseye that, is very notorious, known to be a sign for Lyme disease, even though very few people who actually get diagnosed with Lyme disease had it in the first place?
You mean the one that looks like a staph infection?
Yeah, exactly, that little one.
Oh.
It's just, from, something getting stuck underneath your skin. It's a response, a reaction. There's reasons why, I've heard anything from 1 out of 5 to 1 out of 10 people that diagnose quote-unquote Lyme's get it. Doesn't really seem to be all that related. I must just want to touch on that one because everyone's going to be like, oh, what about that ring bullseye I've heard about but never seen?
That's it. I mean, it's a little staph infection. You get over it and move forward and know at that point that you may have been bit by something. 0.5% from a tick bite may get Lyme's, but the other 99.5% may just have a stress to your immune system that you may start to develop these Lyme symptoms. So know that and don't dismiss it. Hey, I've got a little mini staph infection here when I was in the woods. See your healthcare professional about it. Just understand what we're talking about here, what it may or may not lead to. So what in the world can we do about it? So say you start displaying these symptoms, start getting onto a better sleep pattern.
So other than just everything we mentioned that triggers it, avoiding those, try to avoid herbicides, pesticides, try to get more sleep. But yeah, there are certain specific things we can go ahead and do.
And since we're natural hippies, let's go with the natural stuff.
I was trying to think of the unnatural hippie since you had to specify. That was the look that no one else saw.
One of the awesome awesomest, most awesome herbs known is thyme. I mean, thyme is a phenomenal natural antiviral. I've used this myself. I've put it in the diffuser and just breathe it in for a little bit. And that literally kills viruses on contact. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, and for those of you that don't understand what that is, there's a little layer around your brain that is impenetrable to foreign invaders. I'm getting a little sciencey here, or not sciencey, science fictiony. And this here can actually cross that barrier and actually get to your brain. So there's a virus in your brain. The residue from the thyme can take care of that.
Which is a big deal when it comes to a lot of these viruses that cause neurological symptoms. If you don't have something, go ahead and target everything. It always helps, especially since when a lot of these viruses do lie dormant in the nervous system. It's nice to know that something like thyme can actually get there.
Absolutely. Just in time.
I was waiting for the damn puns.
Lemon balm's actually a pretty good one too, believe it or not.
I believe it.
It kills cofactors of viruses behind Lyme symptoms. Some of these help kill is streptococcus, the good old E. coli, which is always good with the spinach runoff by the cow farms. The Bartonellas we talked about before, and Captain Babesia, and pneumonia. A couple different forms of pneumonia as well, as also the fungus of Candida, and it helps reduce the strain on the immune system. And it's also really nice to just smell. It's peaceful and it's relaxing, and it literally calms the entire system down. I know it's used in a lot of nighttime formulas, some of the better nighttime formulas to help just relax an individual, help them drift off to sleep with some valerian and a little melatonin if someone's a little low. Zinc can help lower inflammatory reactions to neurotoxins produced by the viruses in that herpes family. Just make sure that you know your zinc levels. If you're taking a zinc tab and you're tasting that bitter metallic, you're fine on zinc, so let's not force this here. Just because something's good for you doesn't mean you have to poison yourself with it.
It actually means you shouldn't poison yourself. Well, let's go ahead and add shouldn't. There's probably
shouldn't.
not a good reason to poison yourself.
Just because a glass of wine tastes good doesn't mean you have to drink the barrel at one sitting.
The emphasis on the sitting again.
On sitting. I mean, it's give me a couple days. And a good French wine is to be enjoyed, but one sitting is not a good morning.
Licorice root's another really good one.
Ooh, Twizzlers like that. Those licorice, right?
Go ahead, overload them. Let me know how that goes.
Can't go wrong with those.
Licorice root is really good at just kind of stopping viruses from moving and reproducing. So, stop that from going. Should help. Plus, yeah, sure, eat your Twizzlers, Jim.
Give a girl some licorice root, you'll not have to worry about reproducing. Got it.
You just call me a virus?
I did. L-lysine, let's move on. It impairs the ability of viral cells to move and reproduce, always a plus. Lomanthium root, believe it or not, helps flush viral and bacterial excrements and toxins. That's gross. Dude, they're pooping in you. That's,
You got those billions of bacteria. They're doing it too, Jim.
Reishi mushrooms, you have that phenomenal reishi tea that's out there. Builds up the lymphocytes, platelets, neutrophils. What these are blood cells.
White blood cells. They're known to pretty much, they're the active part of your immune system.
Never let my engine blow. 60-30-930. Neutrophils.
Flashback.
Neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, and basophils. All the white blood cells. Platelets, not exactly a white blood cell, but very important in the red blood. Alright, silver. Silver kills the viruses on contact. That's why colloidal silver is very underused and under-talked about, because some guy decided to drink 100 gallons of it at once and decided to turn himself blue.
Great move on his part.
Yeah, I've made colloidal silver myself, coming down with the cold or the flu. And yes, I've drank more than you're supposed to. I fill up an entire gallon thing of distilled water. Drink that down, and the next day I'm fine.
And it is good stuff.
It is phenomenal stuff.
This next one I'm not going to try to pronounce. Take a whack at it.
Astax and then I always get it right. Astaxanthin.
That one, okay, that sounds
Thank you. It's a phenomenal antioxidant. It's just coming around as being understood as being as phenomenal as it truly is. It, in this case here, helps restore brain tissue and nerves damaged by the virus, but also helps you just straight up regenerate nervous tissue from the stressors of life, your workouts, your days, your tough time around the kids, whatever it may be. I mean, this should be a staple in pretty much in everyone's diet here. My thoughts, take them for what it is.
Yeah, we'll see as more stuff comes out. Maybe we'll have this coming down, more podcasts down the road, especially as more research comes out.
Absolutely.
It looks like good stuff to
I think it's actually in the Green Vibrance stuff that I chug down every day, too.
Okay.
And
Pond sludge?
The pond sludge, which is fine now. I mean, I now mix it with the water with some of the All Day You May.
Okay.
And I know it's got the sucralose in it, so thanks a lot, viewers, for DMing me and blasting me for that one. I know, and I tried making it myself. I know, do or do not, there is no try. But that was a Yoda quote for all the listeners that don't know that one. But it's one to kind of live by, and I did attempt to make and reproduce it. The flavor that came out, and still continues to come out of it, is one that I prefer not to remember.
That says a lot when you compare it to what we call pond sludge.
Yeah. So, a little All Day You May and pond sludge, and I sip it down all day you may. Delicious, delicious stuff. And some iodine, a little Nascent iodine. It helps stabilize and strengthen the endocrine system a little bit. And those are all the different ideas, at least for now, other than making sure you get plenty of sleep, becoming mindful, literally getting cognitively functionized. You can do things such as we talked about with your hot saunas, doing your sauna baths there, and getting enough exercise and stretching and having a nutritious, I would say a clean diet, but we kind of blasted that one a few weeks back, didn't we?
Yep.
But a diet that is pretty much nixed on your starches and your high sugar items.
Non-processed.
Non-processed.
It's a big one.
Huge. That is going to typically help with any of these Lyme's disease symptoms.
I'm going to call it eat naturally. It's probably might be a better way of calling it than clean eating.
But you see natural thrown on peanut butter and all these other items. Natural potato chips.
There's something natural in it.
You know why the potato chips are natural? Because they threw sea salt, which was processed in the first place, into there. Now they throw natural up and it's supposed to be good for you?
Yeah. It sounds good.
Yeah, the peanut butter was natural because it was only partially hydrogenated oil instead of the fully hydrogenated good stuff in Crisco.
Marketing.
What can you use Crisco for other than heart disease?
I got nothing.
I got nothing either. If anybody has any ideas of what we could use Crisco for, let us know. And please don't say any baked goods.
And, okay. We're going different routes on that one. So next topic?
Let's throw some more topic. Little swing. Let's do some swinging here in this show.
Okay, yeah, I saw that smile. So, depression. We'll just throw that big word out there. A lot of people say they're depressed. They feel depressed, especially at periods of time.
I can't take this show anymore.
Awesome. I got my own spot. So, we'll just throw out there. Best advice is watch kids. Do what they do. Like spinning around, rolling down hills. Jim, when was the last time you went ahead and just purposely made yourself dizzy for fun that alcohol was not included?
Well, I do have 3 little kids, so I'm going to say it was within the week.
But you got the right idea. Chase them around, jumping around. You notice how kids are always giggling while they're doing it.
Yeah.
Then, as adults, for some reason, we're too mature for this anymore. There's been proven, a lot of research, you got really well known for, recess. It really helps kids with academic scores, being happier with school. And then they look at adults and realize that we just sit around sedentary all day and wonder why we're less happy, less healthy, more depressed. There's a connection here. A big part of it seems to be with our vestibular system to limbic system. And since I just threw out these big words, we'll go ahead and talk very briefly there. Your vestibular system, that's what keeps your balance, your equilibrium, anything from when you're just walking starts to target your vestibular system. It's no reason why when people get stressed and want to go for a walk, people are like, oh, just clear your head. No, it's actually going to help feed from the one system into your limbic system, which is where runs all your emotions, makes you happy. So if you can help increase this vestibular balance system, it does seem to help with depression in general. There was a couple of studies where they took college kids through, a minor stressful time for people, finals, and they really just had half these kids go and 18 to 26-year-olds go and just go on the swing for an hour. Literally, swing time.
Absolutely.
And they noticed that these people that were swingers had, better scores on anxiety, depression. They ended up scoring better on their finals. It really didn't seem to be that much of a surprise, especially when you do exercise in general, even just, again, things like staying there wobbling your head or spinning around in circles. It increases serotonin, one of those happy hormones.
This is almost like a nootropic without actually having to ingest something.
Yeah, your body has ways of making yourself happy and healthy. You're made to want to be this. It's the same stuff, like I said, what happens when you exercise, so you can do it from, sitting on a merry-go-round. You don't have to technically move. I guess it's technically moving. Your body's not moving, your space is?
Yeah, the space. The
space is moving. We'll give you that one. But yeah, so if you don't know what to do, you want to get a little happier, go outside, just hop on a swing. What else do we have going?
You know what the tough part about this is?
What's that?
It sounds great. I love it.
Sure.
I've got little kids, and it helps. There's a swing open. I get on it. I start going on it, and, look up at the chains, make sure they're not going to fall. But everybody that's listening to this right now, well, that's a great idea. Or dismissing it altogether and has turned off this podcast.
Yes, they wouldn't be listening to it, so no longer...
The tough part is to get people to remove said stick from nether regions and to smile, force that smile onto their face, and do something exciting and different every day. Something that challenges them. Something that's silly. Have a list of silly, literally. Write 10 different things on there. For the next 10 days, do one and cross it off the list. Develop this habit over time. Yeah. Swing. Get dizzy. Spin around and get dizzy for 30 seconds or something like that.
Or you're just moving more than... As we age, we tend to get very linear. You're walking in straight lines. Mm-hmm. Just doing stuff like walking zigzag is going to add a lot to that system. And that's something simple you can do. Who cares? Look a little silly. Just walk, zigzagging down the hallway. Or as you mentioned, smiling. Even fake smiling releases some of those endorphins and happy hormones. So even if you just look in the mirror and give a fake smile, try to give a fake smile without actually laughing a couple of times. Like I did this the other day, looking in the mirror. Fake smile, I started just laughing at myself because I looked ridiculous.
I laugh at you all the time.
Thanks, Jim. Shut it. So.
You left yourself open for that.
Yes, I got that. I interrupted you from something. Remember what it was?
Yeah, developing habits.
I'll continue.
This is the kind of stuff that was published in the book, Biohacking the Brain for Success.
Good book.
How to be a true champion in all aspects of life. Available on Amazon right now. It was obviously written by myself and Chantea. But, those are the types of things we talk about. Just develop habits. And yes, doing silly stuff, physical. even if you're not going to do something silly, you're talking about being linear. Yeah. Well, in the gym, everybody is very linear. Try doing side-to-side motions. Instead of going forwards with, say, walking lunges, do side lunges.
Or everyone that hops on cardio equipment, which we're not going to touch this one right now, but they're all one plane. They're forward. Even just get on like a bike but go outside where you can twist and turn, much better.
Right. These little things are big things over time.
That was almost profound.
Almost. So what else you got? You got anything else for us today? With that sound and the notebook that just flew across the room.
Flew across the room? It's still within arm's reach. I have to activate the vestibular system laterally a little bit, but I can get it.
I almost am challenging to see if... You know what? Let's just call it a week.
That's probably the best idea.
Because we'll have another week next week. So... We thank you, as always, from the bottom of our hearts, Biohacker Nation, for being a part of this show. As always, tell a friend to subscribe. It is free. We're not planning on charging for this show. We have other cool things that are coming out once I figure out web programming on a graduate
Things
level.
to look forward to.
Yeah.
Right now, just help us, help you guys more. We appreciate all the feedback. I'd like to say we're doing this for you guys. I mean, selfishly, it's kind of cool to look this stuff up and talk about it. But, it is. I enjoy it.
True. But again, thank you so much for being a part of our show. And until next week, Biohacker Nation, this is the Mad Scientist Jim.
This is Dr. Mike, and we out.